Hi, and welcome to a presentation given by the Shadowserver Foundation. Sinkhole events and Sinkhole HTTP reports. Malware infection reports for your network or constituency. Presentation aims and objectives. Introduce Sinkhole events and Sinkhole HTTP. Highlight sample Sinkhole event and HTTP reports. Describe key features of each report. Demonstrate how a national cert can action a sinkhole report. Offer guidance on how to protect and remediate from infections, taking Android Hummer, Avalanche Andromeda, and Imhotep malware as examples. What is a malware sinkhole? Sinkholing is a technique whereby a resource used by malicious actors to control malware is taken over and redirected to a benign listener that can, to a varying degree, understand connections coming from infected devices. Typically, the resource is taken over at domain names. Other types of sinkholing exist as well. For example, peer-to-peer botnet poisoning or BGP routing redirection. Infected machines connect to sinkholes using various C2 protocols for communication. For example, HTTP-based, DNS, and IRC, but also many other proprietary protocols. An example, sinkhole event infection, Android Hummer. Android Hummer is a common Android threat, widespread across the world. It's a virus that is installed via malicious applications from Google Play Store and other sources. Android Hummer gains admin privileges and then adds unwanted pop-up ads to the phone or device. It also installs unwanted apps in the background, which are reinstalled if a user attempts to uninstall them. At the height of its infection, it's estimated that there was over 2 billion devices alleged to have been infected worldwide with Android Hummer malware. Looking at the diagram to the right of this slide, we can see a visualization of our total Android Hummer infections, plotted on a map showing country-level infections. All Shadowserver sinkhole reports. Here we can see a list of the different sinkhole reports we offer, with URLs that you can visit for more insight. In total, we offer Sinkhole Events Report, Sinkhole HTTP Events Report, Microsoft Sinkhole Events Report, Microsoft Sinkhole HTTP Events Report, and Sinkhole HTTP Referrer Events Report. How are sinkhole reports made available? All our reports are made available as files in CSV format. File names have sinkhole in their name. Reports can be sent as email attachments to the consumer, or downloaded via HTTP, or obtained via a RESTful API. All report types have an IPv4 version, and some have an IPv6 version as well. All report event timestamps are given in UTC. An example sinkhole event report. Here we present an extract of our sinkhole event report taken from our website, containing a report summary, an overview of report fields, and also a sample CSV file for the benefit of the consumer. Please visit the URL listed on the slide for full report details. Actioning a sinkhole report. To action a sinkhole report, we can take a closer look at a report example as shown on this slide. This report highlights key report fields, such as the timestamp of the event, the source IP, ASN, some related geolocation data, and also the infection listed as Android Hummer. Looking at the next slide, as a national cert, we are now able to action the report by performing a whois lookup on the IP. In this example, we identify a Malawi ISP as the responsible network owner for the IP. The National CERT can now contact the ISP to identify the customer infected and remove Android Hummer malware from the affected device. Android Hummer Protect. Steps to take to protect yourself from Android Hummer are as follows. Ensure your Android operating system is up to date. For example, Android OS updates can patch vulnerabilities and remove access to malicious software. Install Android antivirus products. Keep apps and permissions up to date. For example, review if an app has the ability to send SMS messages. Consider downloading apps from official stores and not third parties. Android Hummer Remediate. Steps to remediate are as follows. Use an antivirus product as best practice removal for Android malware. For manual removal, prevent pop-ups and redirects by clearing the device cache either via browser settings or by going to apps and notifications. Access safe mode in your device power options menu, or try holding volume down as you reboot the phone. Alternatively, search for your device make and model to obtain safe mode instructions. Manually remove malicious apps in safe mode whilst preventing third-party apps from executing. Attempting to remove in normal mode will likely result in permissions to remove denied. In safe mode, open settings and select the apps and notifications menu to remove non-familiar apps and apps you have not installed. If this is not a pre-installed app, you should see an uninstall button to remove. If uninstalled is grayed out, it is possible the app has given itself admin rights, which can be disabled in settings, security and location, device admin apps in order to uninstall. Restart the device to take it out of safe mode and test. If all else fails, perform a system reset via settings, system, reset options, erase all data. This advice was taken from the following Tech Advisor URL. Please click on this URL for more details. Sinkhole HTTP event report. On this slide, we present another extract from our website, this time of a Sinkhole event HTTP report. It contains a report summary, an overview of report fields, and also a sample CSV file for the benefit of the consumer. Please visit the URL listed on the slide for full report details. Example Sinkhole HTTP infection, Avalanche Andromeda. Avalanche is a malware family referring to variants tied to the Andromeda botnet. It also has alias names known as Gamaroo and Wachos. It's a stealth encrypted virus resident in memory, which infects all executed .com and .exe files and deletes antivirus products when executed. One of the longest malware families to have existed since its 2011 creation. It's linked to phishing, spam campaigns, illegal software downloads, and various exploit kits as a means of distribution by the Avalanche platform. Looking at the diagram to the right of the slide, we can see a visualization of our total Avalanche Andromeda infections plotted on a map showing country-level infections. The Avalanche Malware as a Service platform. The Avalanche platform served as a criminal malware as a service network. It launched and managed mass global malware attacks and money mule recruiting campaigns. It was responsible for delivering resilient botnet command and control C2 services for 20 different malware strains, all of which utilized domain generation algorithms, DGAs. Monetary losses associated with malware attacks conducted over the Avalanche network are estimated to be in hundreds of millions of euros worldwide. It was disrupted in 2016, but legacy Avalanche name malware is still being sinkholed today. Actioning a Sinkhole HTTP report. To action a Sinkhole HTTP report, we could take a closer look at a report example, as shown on this slide. This report highlights key report fields, such as the timestamp of the event, source IP, ASN, some related geolocation data, and also the infection, listed as Avalanche Andromeda. Looking at the next slide, as a national cert, we are now able to action the report by performing a WHOIS lookup on the IP. This identifies a Mozambique ISP as a responsible network owner for the IP. The national cert can now contact the ISP to identify the customer infected and remove Avalanche Andromeda malware from the affected device. Avalanche Andromeda Protect. Steps to take to protect from Avalanche Andromeda are as follows. Perform efficient antivirus scans. Perform in-depth scans to look for associated threat installing Avalanche exploits and related registry entries, file lockers, remote access tools, RATs, and associated backdoor Trojans that connect to the Avalanche platform. Keep your antivirus updated. If automatic updates are available, configure your antivirus to use them. Keep your permanent antivirus protection enabled at all times. Avalanche Andromeda, remediate. To remediate from Avalanche Andromeda if infected, follow the below guidelines. Use an antivirus removal tool. Perform an in-depth scan to look for associated threat installing Avalanche exploits and related registry entries, file lockers, remote access tools, RATs, and associated backdoor Trojans that connect to the Avalanche platform. Uninstall recently added apps. Delete unwanted browser extensions via browser settings. If all else fails, perform a full factory reset of the device and document any required registry keys. And also remember to back up important files. Example Sinkhole HTTP infection, Imhotep. This is a malware that targets multiple devices and operating systems, spread via email, using malicious links or attachments, for example, COVID-19 ones. It evolved from a loader, allowing access to hijacked systems into a banking Trojan in 2014. It uses worm-like capabilities to help spread to other connected computers and distribute malware. Later versions saw the addition of malware as a service access given to cybercrime groups to enable payloads then to be sent to victims. For example, Ryuk ransomware. In the first quarter of 2021, we saw the Imhotep group crippled by international authorities, with victims Sinkhole by law enforcement. This is made available to you on the slide, showing Imhotep infections by continent from January-June to 2021. Please note the huge dip in infections that corroborates law enforcement cooperation and the takedown of the malware group. The last quarter of 2021, however, saw the re-emergence of Imhotep malware and an increase in associated TrickBot infections downloading new Imhotep binaries. Action in another Sinkhole HTTP report. To action a Sinkhole HTTP report, we can take a closer look at a report example, as shown on this slide. This report highlights key report fields such as the timestamp of the event, source IP, ASN, some related geolocation data, and also the infection, listed as Imhotep. Looking at the next slide, as a national cert, we are now able to action the report by performing a WHOIS lookup on the IP. This identifies a US ISP as a responsible network owner for the IP. The national cert can now contact the ISP to identify the customer infected and remove the Imhotep malware from the affected device. Imhotep, protect. To protect yourself from Imhotep malware, follow the below steps. Ensure your antivirus, associated operating system, browsers, email clients, Microsoft Office products, and PDF programs all have the latest security updates installed. Do not download dubious attachments from emails or click on suspicious links. Back up your data regularly to an external storage device. In the event of an infection, you will always have a full backup to fall back on. Use strong passwords for all logins and two-factor authentication. Display file extensions by default to detect malicious files. Infected systems need to be remediated quickly, since they may still have other active, ongoing infections inside their networks too. Imhotep, remediate. To remediate an Imhotep infection, please follow the following steps. Immediately isolate infected computers from a network. Use an antivirus product for best practice removal. As Imhotep has worm-like capabilities, patch and clean infected systems one by one to prevent reinfection when plugged back into a network. To manually remove, identify the name malware using an appropriate program manager, for example, the auto runs application, and ensure hidden files and folders are searchable. Restart your computer in safe mode or safe mode with networking, depending on the OS version. Search and extract the malware and associated files, processes to ensure deletion. Reboot to normal mode, test and confirm removal. Thank you for listening to our presentation. Please consider subscribing to our reports. By doing so, you will join an ever-growing community of internet defenders dedicated to the pursuit of a safer, more secure internet.